Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you my dance story. So this is a video that I have on my other channel, but I made it like 3 years ago and I feel like I should do an updated one on this ballet channel. So in order for this video to not be 2 hours long, I'm definitely going to be doing the short abridged version of this story, but I honestly just wanted to make this video again with the updated version, and for people who don't know me, who are new to this channel, just to know a little bit about when I started ballet, how I started ballet, and how I was able to get to the level of ballet that I am at now. So let's go right back to the beginning. So I started ballet classes when I was 3 and I absolutely loved it. And then I continued to dance ballet until I was 9 years old. And at that point I was actually living in Scotland and I was doing Royal Academy of Dance syllabus. So I was taking, you know, the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 exams in the RAD, and I was really enjoying it. I absolutely loved my teacher, I adored her. But then we moved back to England and I didn't find a ballet teacher that I liked. I just couldn't find a class that was quite right for me, so in the end I stopped dancing ballet. But I didn't stop dancing because it's me and I always just love any kind of dance. So luckily at that point in the UK, dance was part of the curriculum for PE, and in my school dance was actually a separate subject. I think we had either 1 or 2 hours a week of dance, and the kind of dance that we used to do was, I guess, a mixture of like modern, commercial, contemporary, a little bit of whatever you felt like, and choreography was part of it. I remember that we would like learn some moves and then our teacher would tell us to put it into a dance. So at that point I already really enjoyed dancing and doing choreography, but I wasn't learning, you know, any type of technique or anything like that. The classes weren't about that. The classes were about just enjoying the movement and making up little dances with your friends. So then when I started my GCSEs and I was allowed to choose some of my subjects, obviously I chose dance, and for GCSE and A-level dance in the UK, the dance that you do for those is usually contemporary. So that's what I was doing. I was learning kind of different contemporary things, but not really with a specific technique. Like I wasn't doing Graham technique or Cunningham technique or anything like that. This was really just my teacher and her kind of style, and her teaching us some movements and then encouraging us to do a little bit more research and find other movements. And then obviously we would also study contemporary dance works and we would learn parts of them. And so I really enjoyed that. I loved doing my choreography. I actually loved learning Laban notation as well, which, if you don't know, is one of the forms of dance notation. So a way of writing down dance in the same way that you have sheet music, you can have dance written music as well. Laban notation and Benesh are the two most famous ones of dance notation, I think. So I really loved that, and I loved our exam that we had to do where they would just give you the dance on a piece of paper and then you had, like, I can't remember how long, maybe half an hour or an hour to read through the dance, practice it, and then you went and performed it. That was really fun. And so after GCSE dance, of course, I continued and I did my A-level dance. And simultaneously to that, I also was learning and playing the cello, both doing the exams and also in an orchestra. And I remember having a moment when I was probably 17, starting to think about what I wanted to study at university, and having this kind of dilemma a little bit between continuing with music or continuing with dance, and I hated the idea of having to give one of them up. I really struggled with that a bit, and I was looking for courses which would be dance and music. I don't think there were any like official music and dance degrees. I decided in the end that I would apply to study dance, and at that point I did actually do a few ballet classes when I was like, I guess 18, just because I realised that I had no technique. I was just really enjoying dancing because I hadn't trained in an academy at all. I was just doing A-level dance and doing lots of dance clubs, and at every single show that ever happened at my school, me and my friends would always do a dance and perform it. So dance is a big part of my life, but it was never in the kind of professional training way. And so I realised that when I was applying for dance degrees, that would be fine, but I also had this dream of maybe applying to one of the conservatoires in the UK. So those were the dance degrees that would be in a specific dance school. So whether it was Laban, whether it was London School for Contemporary Dance, whether it was Northern, there were a few different dance conservatoires that I applied to. And I realised that, wow, my level technically was nowhere near probably what it needed to be. So I did do a few ballet classes at that point, but it wasn't like for long enough to really get back into it. So anyway, I auditioned for the different conservatoires and I didn't get into them. I got into all of the dance programs at uni because I had really good grades. I had like much higher grades than all of the dance courses were asking for. And you don't have to do like such a technical dance audition to get into the degree programs, because the main focus for degree programs is not on creating future professional dancers. It's more potentially choreography. I mean, potentially you could go into professional dancing, but that's not the focus. There's a lot of dance theory, there's a lot of, as I said, choreography, learning about the history of dance, learning about different dance and all that kind of thing. So actually I was really upset when I didn't get into any of the conservatoires, I'm going to be honest, but I just realistically now looking back I understand why I didn't. But at the time it kind of hurts. And I remember leaving my decision of what I was going to do next, because in my head I was like, oh, maybe I should just, you know, keep training at the dance academy, take some more classes, take some proper contemporary classes, carry on with some ballet classes, and then reapply next year. But in the end, what I decided to do, and I made this decision on the very last day that you could accept your place at university, I got a reminder from UCAS, I think that's what the company's called, that I hadn't accepted any of my offers, because I had lots of offers from all the universities. And so last minute I just decided to accept my offer from Leeds University, and then I went and studied dance at Leeds. So that was my undergraduate degree and I really enjoyed my 3 years there. But typical me, I didn't want to just stick at doing one thing only. So while I was at uni, first of all I joined the orchestra, which was obviously really fun, and that meant that I could do my music and my dance at the same time. And I also started some different Latin styles. So I started learning salsa, samba, reggaeton, yeah, and maybe a little bit of merengue and things like that. So I really got into Latin dances when I was doing my degree. And anyway, long story short, by the time I finished my dance degree, I had decided that I would prefer to be dancing Latin styles than contemporary. So I auditioned for a dance company that was both based in Leeds and London, and I got in and I trained with them, and then I was teaching for them and I was also performing with them, mainly Brazilian samba, but also some of the other Latin styles I just mentioned, and that was really fun. So obviously through all of this time I wasn't dancing any ballet. So I'm just going to jump a few years now. So from performing with this Latin dance company, I stayed with them kind of on and off for a few years, off because at one point I moved to Barcelona and then I moved back to the UK, and then I was doing my master's degree in London in dance anthropology. So this degree was completely theoretical. There were no performance or choreographic parts to this master's, and it was basically, dance anthropology is the study of human dance. Why do humans dance and how do humans dance? What does that look like across different times, different places, and what are the differences and what is also the commonality of dance between all human beings, which I absolutely love, and I'm kind of obsessed with those questions. And actually, just a quick side note, I've just started a new project called the Rhythmic Body, and that's basically all of the stuff that I did during my masters, and I'm bringing in different dance professionals, different movement therapy, music psychology, biomechanics, movement coaching, and I'm bringing all of that stuff together now in some really exciting conversations. So anyway, if you're interested in that side of things, the theoretical side of things, please come and join me at the Rhythmic Body on Instagram, and then also the videos for that are going to be on my other channel, Natalie, which I will link in the description. Anyway, back to the story. So I finished my masters. My main dissertation was on the evolution of music and dance and rhythmic body movement, hence the name for my new project. And at the same time I was still dancing some Latin styles. So I'm going to do a big fast forward here, and there was a lot of other stories in the meantime, but basically I ended up moving to Madrid, And when I came to Madrid, I was dancing a bit of salsa, and when I moved flat at the end of my first year in Madrid, I was looking for another dance school to go to. So I found this dance school quite near the centre of Madrid, which did lots and lots and lots of different dance styles, and you pay kind of like a monthly rate and you can try lots of different styles. And I was like, this is perfect. I can do my salsa class, I can do my samba class, and then I can also try some different commercial styles. And then I also saw that they had ballet, and now continues the story. So basically I went to a ballet class, I loved it, and then I went to another one, and I basically started to get addicted. And so from dancing no ballet, and bear in mind that in this time between 9 years old, apart from like a few classes when I was 18 to 26, I didn't dance any ballet. So my whole body was completely in parallel. My hips were kind of wiggly because I've been dancing a lot of Latin styles, and then all of a sudden here I was dancing ballet again, and it felt really like new, like it felt like new movement. There wasn't that much that I consciously at least could remember from when I was 9 years old. So it really felt like a fresh start. So what happened then was that when I say I got addicted, that I'm not using that word lightly. I started dancing ballet 6 days a week. That's full hour-and-a-half classes, some days 2 classes, and yeah, that was just, I was working and I was dancing ballet. That was like my life. And then towards the end of that year, one of my teachers suggested to me, he was like, if you really want to take ballet seriously and get really good at ballet, why don't you apply to one of the conservatoires in Madrid? And I was thinking like, is that a little bit crazy? I'm obviously much older than everyone else because, as I said, I was 26. But as soon as he said it, there was this thing inside me that was like, I want to have this experience. I feel like, because when I was 9, a bit that I missed out is just that I was in the class like 1 year higher than my age group, because there was obviously something in me, because I loved it so much, that made me work very hard. I've always been quite a hard working dancer, so my teacher at that time saw a lot of potential in me, and I remember her saying things about like, you know, like being a ballerina when you grow up, blah blah blah. So I think there was always that dream that had never been recognised, and so as soon as he said that, I was like, I want to have this experience. I'm so excited to audition. And I was like, even if I don't get in, even just the experience of doing an audition in a conservatoire for ballet would be amazing. So I trained really, really hard. I got the download of like all of the different steps that they might ask, things that we would be required to do on point. And I went for the audition that wasn't to get into the first year, it was to get into like second year or above. And basically I got into second year. So the next year in September, well sorry, that same year in September, I started at the conservatoire called Comandante Fortea in Madrid. There are 3 different conservatoires, that's one of them. And it was an amazing experience, and I actually have a whole video talking about that experience, which I will link because it's very long and detailed, and there was obviously a lot to go into in terms of being an adult ballet dancer and training in that kind of way as opposed to taking adult ballet classes. It's a very different experience, so I'm going to link to that in case you're interested. But today I want to carry on with this story because more or less that's where I left off my other video, so we're going to carry on today. So in the end I stayed at the conservatoire for a year. I had sustained a hip injury during my training at the conservatoire, and that was really from forcing my turnout too quickly, because I'd only been dancing ballet for 1 year when I got in, and all of a sudden I was being asked to close my 5th position. So it was that, and I was also obviously living in Spain. I wasn't living with my parents or anything, so I had to still work, had to still pay rent, and it all just was like a bit too much in the end, as much as I loved that 1 year and I'm so glad I did it. I just decided that from then on, what I actually wanted to do was to really enjoy my dancing and not be trying to force it as something that had to get me to a professional level, because I realized that that wasn't actually what I wanted to do when I was there. It was very tempting, and my teacher even told me while I was there, she was like, you have nice lines, you work hard, I'm sure that if you carry on you could get into one of the corps, but like I wouldn't be a principal, obviously, like I was too old to work my way up to that level. By the time I got there I'd probably be like 30, probably the age I am now, 32. So I think at that point I took everything into consideration, and I was like, I want to carry on dancing, I want to get better as a dancer, but I want to do it in an adult ballet environment rather than a conservatoire environment. So that's what I did. I went back to the same academy that I was at before, and the reason that I really like dancing there is because as I said, you can do different classes, so I was able to have different teachers, and you'll notice in ballet that different teachers focus on different things. So I felt that that really helped me to become a good all-round dancer, because like some teachers focus more on posture, some teachers focus more on like getting the legs higher and maybe more of the like external virtuosic things like more turns, etc. Some teachers focus more on expression and things, so it was really nice to have the whole kind of package in a way. So I did that for another 2 years, and then I moved to the UK for just 1 year. I knew that I was going to come back to Spain, but while I was in the UK, I thought I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity and train again in Royal Academy of Dance, and this time I'm going to do an exam from the vocational syllabus. So I wanted to do, and I was training to do, the RAD Advanced Foundation, but halfway through when we were doing it, my teacher and I found out that actually you're not allowed to take that exam unless you've taken the intermediate first. So in the end, I trained in both of those syllabi at the same time, but I ended up doing the RAD intermediate exam because, as I said, you had to take that one first. But the good thing is, and the reason that they make you take that exam first, is that the RAD intermediate exam is like the level that you have to reach to then become an RAD teacher. So you have to pass your RAD intermediate and then you can go on to doing RAD teacher training. So anyway, I trained for a year doing RAD, and again I was training with teenagers, so I was again the oldest by a long way. I think I was 30 by that point. But I had a really lovely experience at that dance school. My teacher's amazing, she's so lovely. And I took the exam that summer, so I ended up getting a distinction, which is, if you probably already know, but it's like you can get either pass, merit or distinction. So I was really happy to obviously get that level, and I was like, yes, my dancing's at a good level, and it's just nice to kind of get that acknowledgement through an exam as well. So from there I moved back to Spain and I started teaching. Obviously I'm not teaching official RAD or anything like that. To do that you have to have the official exam, but I started teaching adult ballet, beginner ballet, and just absolutely loving it, because I always taught dance, I just hadn't taught specifically ballet, although I had been teaching ballet to children while I was training in the conservatoire, and the years after that, that's what I was working as. But it's different teaching younger children than it is actually teaching adults. So that was so much fun, and I realised that that was really where I had a lot of passion and a lot of drive, and so from there I've continued teaching. And something that I've realised as well is to share not only just the experiences that I've had of like doing the RAD exam and things, but little details that they don't always share in adult ballet classes, where they don't realise actually the potential that adults have to dance ballet and how really good people can get, and how adults can achieve dancing on point if they really commit to it and work hard. And so that's been like my absolute passion, and now obviously I'm teaching classes online, which is so much fun, and I get to work with really hard-working, really talented adult ballet dancers, and seeing people like achieving their dreams of dancing on point, and really getting strong and getting good and feeling in control on point is so rewarding. And also in soft shoes, of course, and just being able to bring in that expression and that musicality, but with good technique and good lines, because adult ballet dancers can achieve good technique and good lines as well. And also, as much as I'm still teaching, I'm also still taking class myself, because that's something that I'm very passionate about. I will never stop learning. So I love teaching and I love dancing at the same time, and I feel like those two things really go well together. That's been my journey up until now. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for everybody who's like supported me on this journey, and it's been so much fun to do it alongside a lot of you as well on Instagram and on YouTube. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you feel that you would like to share your ballet story, I would love for you to do that in the comments of this video, and we can kind of have this as a place that people can come and refer to find inspiration, to find things that are common between different people and a place that we can connect with each other. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Sending you all lots of love and hope to dance with you soon.